I'm here with Daniel of Arch Enemy to talk about Blood Dynasty, out March 28th on Century Media Records. First of all, thank you very much for your time. How are things going with you?
Things are going really well. Yeah, just really excited about releasing the album now in a couple of, it's about, what is it, 6 weeks left?
Yeah, it's just around the corner. I mean, you blink and the album is here. So let's talk a little bit about the mindset going into this 12th record for Arch Enemy. Did you guys approach this album any differently going into the more of the creative side of things before even getting into the recording side of things?
Not really. I mean, practically we did it the same way that we've done the last few albums, writing the songs. It was a similar process. Um, I mean, we had a few ideas that we wanted to do slightly differently this time. Like for a couple of songs, we wanted to feel a bit more free, like in terms of the arrangements of the songs and things like that. We just wanted to keep a very open mind when we were in the creative phase and basically not, leave out any good ideas just because it might not be what you want to hear like when you write the songs, You know what I mean? Like if somebody has an idea in that stage, we tend to just uh we tend to just record whatever ideas we have, and then in the later phase we'll go back and we'll say, this might not work and this might work and so on.
This is the 12th record by Arch Enemy. At this point, is it difficult to create something new and fresh, but still somehow keep connected with the legacy and the DNA of the band?
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it like that you want to create something completely new every time, I think it would be more difficult. But I think at the same time, um, the way I see Arch Enemy is like it's a band where the musicians have a lot of different influences, and there's a lot of music in our background, And I feel that we feel kind of free creatively to express those influences, And whatever we do, it always ends up sounding like Arch Enemy in the end when you get all the members of the band playing on the song. So, but definitely, it is a challenge when it's the album number 12. It's a challenge to keep it nice and fresh. But at the end of the day, we just try to write the best material that we can. That's the only. I mean, that's the only input, really.
That's the only thing you really can control. I read the press release when I got the press release about the album coming out, and Michael was quoted on the press release saying that the band turned up the speed and aggression on this record. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I've always felt like every Arch Enemy record had speed and aggression. So, how much more can you really turn it on Blood Dynasty?
I mean, that's a good question. Now we're always trying to find new ways to include more aggression and speed, but we're not that type of band either. That like we're not a very very super extreme death metal band that blasts blast beats all the time and insane double bass all the time. We're more controlled in that sense, So there's a limit to how fast we can play in that sense. But I think that some of the songs are picking up the intensity even more than we did in the past. So I think that's what he's referring to as well.
This was the first record with Joey on guitar. How was his I don't know, his blend into the band and into the DNA of the band? I'm sure it's always difficult for somebody coming in new into something that's been established for a while. So how did you guys greet him and how was that process?
Well, for the Blood Dynasty, he came in and recorded some solos at the end of the recording. So he participated in that sense that he laid down some killer solos and a bit of acoustic guitar as well. But Joey's been a friend of the band for a while. He actually did some shows with us back in 2018 when Jeff Loomis had a little break from the band. And well, Joey's also he played a lot with Michael's brother Christopher Amott in Armageddon and various projects they had together. and he even further back than that, he actually studied with Chris. So his style, to me, reminds me a lot about Chris Amott's guitar playing, and the touch that he has in his solos is really fantastic, and it really blends in perfectly with the sound of Arch Enemy, I think. So it was kind of seamless, you know. And then we went out on the road and did some shows with him, and yeah, it was kind of a seamless, yeah, a seamless switch, if you may say.
Having guys like Joey, like Michael, like Jeff Loomis in the band from a guitarist points view, how does that impact your overall playing? Are you inspired by what you see in front of you when you're sitting in that drum kit behind them?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I don't think about it that much anymore because I've been in the band for such a long time now. But obviously, they're some of the best guitar players out there, and it's super inspiring. And also, I mean, I play a bit of guitar myself. That's how I write some of the riffs that are on the album now as well. But just to imagine presenting an idea on guitar in front of those guys is kind of intimidating. But it's cool, you know. It's better than just whistling a melody or something. To be able to just show it on the guitar is much easier.
Yeah, I'm assuming it would be quite difficult to show it on drums.
Yeah, unless it's an idea that start with a drum beat, which is kind of rare, but it has happened. Most of the time, it starts with a guitar riff, at least in this band. So,
So enough about the guitar players. Let's talk about your drumming. How was it for you this record? Did you because there's songs on this album that I feel like perhaps will ask something different of you. A song like Viva Libre, for example, the cover that you guys did. So how was this album from a drum standpoint as far as you're concerned?
mm, well, it's usually it's like the same kind of idea that goes into it, and that is that I want to play for the song. I want to play like drums that are interesting to listen to, but I also want to play for the song. You know what I mean? I don't want to take over. And a song like that, Viva Libre, for example, that's basically just holding back and just playing the bare minimum of what the song requires. So I mean that can present a challenge as well. But as far as the drumming goes, it's pretty much the same mindset that I had with every album. Um, and we recorded with Jens Bogren this time around, and that was something new. I haven't done that before. He mixed a couple albums of ours, but then I recorded with a different engineer in another studio. So that was a new experience, just working with someone like him. And yeah. So that was a bit different this time around. He pulled a lot of I like to think that he pulled a lot of creativity out of me, but I let the listener decide that.
Are you a student of the game when it comes to drumming? Like, are you always looking for new ideas, new ways of doing things, and not just in order to bring that to the band, but just from a personal standpoint as well?
Absolutely. I mean, it's a big part of my life. I mean, I practice every day, and if you practice every day, you always try to find like new ways of challenging yourself and keep yourself motivated and inspired. But at the end of the day, when it comes to recording an Arch Enemy album, it's not always that I have the space in the songs to go into all those areas. Most of the time, it's more about just laying down the rock foundation.
I mentioned Viva Libre. I have to bring that song up because I think that's perhaps the most unique song on this record. It's a cover. A lot of people probably not even going to know it's a cover, so they're going to think you guys just created a brand new track that you guys are doing something completely new. How was that song for you, and how you think the reception of the fans will be when they get to check out that track when the album comes out?
That's hard to say, man. I think it might be one of those tracks that kind of divides. You know, some people are gonna love it, some not so much. Maybe I don't know. But for us, it was just like it's a French band called Blaspheme that wrote the song originally, and it's from the '80s, I believe. And Yeah, we've been jamming that album on the bus for a while. It was Michael that brought it on the bus, and we started listening to it. And that cover just stood out as a really cool song. And there's a connection there as well because Elisa is from Montreal. She's already French speaking, and we thought it would be a cool way to just like let's try it out. And then it ended up becoming killer and really cool. And then the decision to put it on the album, that's the new thing, like to put a cover among the songs, if you know what I mean. It's
Yeah,
not like
yeah,
a
yeah.
bonus
Because
track. So
you would expect it to be at the end of the record, but it's in the last part of the album, but it's not at the end of the album.
correct. Yeah, it really felt like the most natural thing to do once we had the final mixes of that. And it just added an element. If you see the album as a whole, it added an element that we'd never had before. And I think that was a cool way to include a song like that.
And she sings in French, like you said, she's from Montreal. I'm in Toronto, so very familiar with her work and what she brings to the table. Was is that cool for you guys to do a song like that? Not just from a musical standpoint, but to have her bring something completely different to the table that she hasn't really done before. Clean singing all along in French on a track.
Absolutely. Like I said, we try to find new ways of uh, expressing the sound of our enemy without straying too far from, what we want to be. So I think that was a really cool thing. And yeah, we've always known that Elisa has a killer screaming voice and she can sing clean as well. But it's kind of it's a bit more of a challenge to find those places in the songs in Arch Enemy's music where she can sing clean like that. It's not that we're trying to hold her back or anything like that. I mean, she loves to scream as well. So this was an opportunity for her to really go deep into the melodic side. And I mean, the reason the song is on the album is because of her incredible performance. Otherwise, I don't know if it would be featured on the album, to be honest.
I'm going to tell you something. When I saw the cover, the artwork of the record, I thought that there was a connection maybe with previous albums because when you think about Blood Dynasty, the dynasty that Arch Enemy has created, so I went back to check out all the album covers to see if there was some connection there. And I thought while I didn't find direct connections, I thought the album artwork on this record not only creates a sense of a connection to the title of the album, and somewhat represents a little bit of the dynasty and legacy of the band. Do you see the artwork of the album from that perspective?
Yeah, I mean, you can interpret the artwork in all kinds of different ways, and I think you're onto something there. You know, um, I mean, we had Elisa is our third singer, and we've been through a lot of changes over the years. Uh, so kind of definitely feels like that. There's a connection there, but also like just visually, just it just really grabs your attention, and it's intriguing, and you want to know more about it. And I think the artwork is just amazing.
That's been a staple for you guys as far as artwork is concerned, especially over the last, I would say, five records. The artwork has become a huge piece of what Arch Enemy offers on the albums. Is that a conscious thought from you guys?
Absolutely. I mean, that's a big part of the whole process, I think. Just like the visual aspect. If you look like a band like Maiden, for example, the old classic album covers, it's something everybody has a kind of connection to, just from being. It's really like it has a very very strong visual impact, and also every album is like you come up with something visually new and you create like merchandise around that as well. There's a whole kind of thought around the album and the packaging and all that. So this time around we worked with Alex Reisfar, and he's the same painter that did Power and Deceivers. So this is his third one in a row.
I can
And
see
yeah,
the sequence there. Yeah, the last couple of our albums, the artwork has definitely jumped as far as what it's offering and what's giving the record. And speaking of merch, you guys are going to be touring in North America. I'm sure there will be a lot of merch available for people to buy. Great freaking package during April and May with Fit for an Autopsy based in Martyr. Outstanding lineup of bands. I'm sure you're excited and looking forward to hitting the North American shores once again.
Oh yeah, I'm super excited. I'm really glad that we've been able to get this package together because I mean there's a lot of competition going on right now. I believe there's a lot of other tours. Uh, but I think that the bands on this bill are they're all contributing with something unique and cool. And yeah, it's going to be great to come back to it. It's been 2 years since we last played. No,
Yeah.
it's going to be 3 years by the time the tour hits, I guess.
I believe the last one was
So
with Behemoth, the co-headlining you guys did.
that's correct. That was in 22. So yeah, it's going to be cool. I'm really excited about it. And we're going to be playing a festival as well. Like we haven't been playing a lot of those US festivals. We're playing in, is it called Daytona? This is the one down in Florida. It's a big one. So that's going to be cool to do that. I mean, we do that in Europe all the time, but we haven't been really participating in the US festival circuit yet.
Yeah, and there's not many of them, so you got to take the ones you can get. Before my last question, I have a second last question, which is the last time. Well, not really the last time you guys played in Toronto, because that was the Behemoth show. I was at that show in Toronto, but I believe was the one before that, which was before the pandemic. I was lucky enough to get one of your drumsticks at the end of the show. What do I have to do to get another one to go with that one for my man cave? Do I need to go shirtless? Do I need to wave? Like, what do I need to do?
You got to get my attention somehow, so I'll let you use your imagination for that.
I was lucky enough to get one. I really appreciate it. I have it in a very safe place. It's something that it's dear to me to keep that souvenir from that show. I remember watching you guys. I don't want to get too sidetracked here, but my dad passed away about 7 years ago. I think it was 7, 8 years ago, and you guys did a tour with Trivium. And I flew back. I went to the funeral in Portugal and I flew back because I didn't want to miss that show. And I felt like my dad wouldn't want me to miss that show. And so I always will have a connection with Arch Enemy because of that memory of around the time of my dad's passing. So having your drumstick means a lot to me.
That's super cool, man. That's really cool to hear. Dude, I recognize you from the YouTube as well. I've seen some of your Reacts videos.
Yeah, yeah, we
So
Yeah, we do a lot of that nonsense. We do a lot of that nonsense. My son and I, yeah, and we always cover everything that you guys do because we're big fans of the band. And like I said, that drumstick has a special place in my man cave. So I just want you to know that's been well taken care of.
that's really cool to hear, man. If I see you in the crowd, I'll make sure to try to throw you a stick.
All right, we have a deal. Last question for you. Speaking of crowd, speaking of playing in that tour, is there a song from this new record that you're looking forward to playing the most?
I mean, we actually already did a few shows. A few shows. We actually did a full-on tour where we played Dream Stealer and Liars and Thieves. We were able to debut that song just before the video came out, actually. So we started playing it live, and it was super cool. And I mean, before that tour, I was looking forward to seeing how Dream Stealer would go down. So, and it's still kind of a favorite of the band, I think. But it's gonna be cool to like once the album is out, we can start playing some songs that are not singles as well. So we'll see how that goes. I'm looking forward to just coming back to the US and Canada and just like playing some of the new stuff. That's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun for us to watch it. So I'll be at the Toronto show. On the description of this video, I'm going to put all the tour dates so people can find out exactly where you guys are playing, pick up some tickets, go watch you guys. I'll put also the pre-order link for the album that once again comes out March 28th on Century Media Records. Daniel, thank you very much for your time, man. It was an absolute pleasure and blast to talk to you. All the best.
Thank you very much. We'll see you in Toronto.
See you in Toronto, man. Take care. All the best.
Take care.